I finally saw The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo because it, seemed that it was really encouraged by some of the more intelligent people in general that I know as cerebral. No creativity is worth that kind of visual trauma. My psyche has been completely sodomized, irreversibly. Creatively, when you combine the typical ideals of storylines, even though this is not a typical, it's not atypically displayed on screen this way. Um, you can kind of figure the level of insanity within the characters and see where it's going to go. But anyway, that could just be me, because I'm usually the eyeball out like that way. But I mean, I just feel like the director could have allowed the viewer to presume what happened in even in the raunchiest scenes. And when I say raunchy, that's pretty much too mild of a word, but I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt in guessing that there must be a creative connection or some possible valid reason for including the graphic nature of events. But as the movie progressed, it was just made clear that there was no need for it, and it pretty much leads me to believe that the creators of this project are themselves really extremely excruciatingly sexually imbalanced in a Sandusky type way. And I mean, I get the storyline and how the actual scheme of events are related, but the play-by-play displays were so uncalled for, just uncalled for. I'm guessing this was rated R, but a R rating is really much too mild for the collection of vulgarity. And sadly, it's as accurately an accurate parallel to a lot of the secrets that so-called, quote unquote, powerful to you and to the average public, not to me. But it's parallel to a lot of the secrets that these powerful families conceal. And again, I use both terms, powerful and family, loosely. It was horrible. It was creative, but there's no room for this level of mentality, creative or not, to be displayed as general entertainment for the common public. Again, unfortunately, that's how a lot of people think, and we are entertained by extremes as a country. But pretty much that's just really fucked up. It's just really fucked up. I would definitely not recommend the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo to anyone of any age. Instantly you'll want to say, oh, don't let your children go see this, don't even let your, but as soon as that comes out of my mouth, I'm like, matter of fact, don't let your teenagers go see this. And as soon as I say that, I'm like, in fact, really, because college kids are being groomed for adulthood, don't let college kids go see this, because if they already have these types of thoughts as something that could be normal for a large group of people and include them, I don't want them to think that's not okay. This is not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. So the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, it could be seen as cerebral, but really not even. If you look at the storyline, and it's been done before. It's been done. It's been done in real life. It's been, like I said, it's some, a different version of some Sandusky type ish. And I guarantee you, there are some Republican politicians, and maybe a slight handful of liberal politicians. But either way, it's becoming way too common in society to make that okay. That we make that entertainment. I'm really sodomized right here. It was hard. It would be hard for any female to watch, whether she's had a traumatic experience like that or not. But and gentlemen who have any kind of compassion, which are the strongest gentlemen in the world. The strongest men are compassionate men, contrary to common belief. I'm thinking about a series to introduce you to real men, because all of y'all talking about me, that's another video. So anyway, that's the girl with the dragon tattoo. Not recommend. I do not encourage. No. And these other two are going to be how I typically see movies, which is way after everyone else has seen them. So there was a girl with the dragon tattoo, there was Vendetta, and there was Black Swan. I actually happened upon last night because it came on. So Vendetta, we actually recorded, and we tried to watch that like 8 times. I say like every night for more than a week and a half. We tried to watch it, and we would only get 30 minutes watched. I don't know why. It was actually really pretty good. You know, again, unnecessarily violent, but it was pretty decent. But yet another extremist project. I like the idea of the common person, the common man, as coming together as a unit, working to prevail over selfishness and greed and such. But ultimately, it's the same thing. It's like how it's like the so-called militant black people. We want I want to a black man to run the country, but somehow they think he should be the black president and not the president of the free world, not the leader of the free world. You know, so ultimately, which is why white people would be, of course, unnerved about a black man being president anyway. But what ended up happening is what would end up happening if those people got the type of black person they want in office. So this was a man, you know, from my perspective again, fighting for the common man, you know, so that he is not manipulated by quote unquote government, and which is a good thing. But ultimately, it's the different version of the same thing. It's his way or no way. And so, you know, in essence, he becomes as self-consumed as the people that were running the country, in that he stops at nothing and without compassion for human life to make his point, basically. So I can't say I wouldn't recommend it, because it was interesting, but it doesn't move me as much of a moral values type project that they would like for you to believe. Yeah, that's just what I say. That's just me. No one agrees with me, so that's just me. I'm doing what people do on their YouTube channels and expressing my perspective. If I see one more pelvisian take one more physically challenging role, and that is so sexually screwed up, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. It's hard. It's apparently, you know, I wouldn't think it would be so difficult, but it's apparently difficult to watch someone that I can snap in half actually get snapped in half voluntarily on screen repeatedly. I'm not cool with that. It's not cool. That you pelvisians, I'll say you guys are beautiful bald headed. You look beautiful bald headed. But I just you know, they're running around all bones and stuff and trying to handle being smacked around and bent backwards and carrying on, and I don't know why I have a problem with that, but I do. So in all 3 of these movies, 2 of which had the same female, you got pelvisians running around getting the smackdown put on them, you know, as a result of situations and relationships that they chose to engage and nurture, you know. So again, when you opt for such a lifestyle, how sorry am I supposed to feel for you when it catches up to you? Yeah, so back to Swan Lake. I mean, not Swan Lake. Black Swan. I'm not even sure where this project was supposed to be going right here. This female was so messed up, as typical, because her upbringing was so messed up and she's so confused. And all this commotion happened behind her just wanting to be a dancer, which should just be a simply creative and expressive event. But when you are raised a certain way, or when you're exposed to certain fucked upness, your passion can take a detour down a very wrong and painful road. And that is a lesson learned from all of these flicks. I told you pretty much a whole lot of nothing regarding this last project, but that's what I got out of it. I mean, I believe a lot of people will defend it with just that, like the other two, with an armor of artistry and creativity, but in the end, it's, I want to say it's pointless. It's pointless, but what's pointless to me may not be pointless to somebody, because they think it's a beautiful thing that all of this disastrousness is being promoted for entertainment purposes. But you can't do that and then wonder why the children or humanity or in general, you know, what, you cannot do that and not take into consideration what it does to the psyche of mankind and how they build relationships with one another. So nothing productive out of that either. Nothing productive. I can't take away from the people that created these projects that you have to have a certain mindset to be able to pull all these elements together and make a project that seems somewhat, I want to say complete, but they weren't complete. So incomplete creativity, which to many artists, you know, stands alone in its own category somehow. You know, whatever. Anyway, for a thinking person, it's not going to be difficult to sit through all these projects in terms of storyline, but for moral people, it will be difficult to sit through and gather some sort of understanding, unless you're an artist, gather some sort of understanding as to why these would be considered off the charts masterpieces. I wasn't moved by them, except in a direction of trauma. And that dragon tattoo stuff traumatized me. It traumatized me. That was, you couldn't start the scene off with the dude, with them having a verbal exchange and then positioning themselves in the different ways, or having certain physical exchanges, and then leave the viewer to have a, we can assume what happened. And you pelvisians, stop taking these type of roles, because your pelvic bone disturbs me. Bony bitches looking beautiful bald-headed and doing all kinds of fucked upness. That is so not cute. That's so not cute. And with no lessons to be learned. No constructive lessons to be learned.